Well, Brant, here we are. The FatBoyz' favorite holiday of the entire year.
Oh,
The
yeah.
day to absolutely just gorge yourself, overeat. The one day a year where nobody looks down on you and I for doing the things that you and I do to make us us. It's encouraged to unbutton your pants at the table and get that third plate. It's encouraged to sit on the couch all day and watch football. It's a beautiful day to be a fat man. Week 12 getting started right away, Thanksgiving Day, with three pretty decent matchups on the horizon today. Definitely looking forward to this. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And Brant, you got anything for the folks?
Yeah, guys, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, like you said, three good matchups to look forward to. Well, two that I'm really looking forward to. One that we should see how the day goes, or how that game goes. It could be a good one, or it could end up being a snooze fest, taking an early nap.
You snooze. Okay. So anyway, definitely a good thing today. And I do want to tell folks, if anybody's got any questions on how to get the most volume and the most value out of your Thanksgiving Day meal, Brant and I are kind of experts on this whole how to eat thing. I tell you, it's important to have a very light breakfast, but make sure you do plenty of stretching before you get to your first meal. Stretchy pants are always a plus. Loose-fitting shirts, right? We don't want to feel like slobs. I always load up on that first plate, just cover the damn thing and everything I want. And then I wait like 30 minutes, go back up and get another small plate. Then I just go waste a bunch of small plates the rest of the day. It's fantastic. That way nobody's really looking and going, oh my gosh, look how much is overflowing on that plate. It just looks like you're picking after that first plate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a believer in the very first plate of just piling everything on, or having 2 or 3 plates maybe to start. Maybe normally before we start, I normally have 2 TV trays in front of my chair, since we normally camp out in the living room for watching football. But yeah, I'm a heavy believer in just piling it full the best you can right off the bat. Well, we got some comments rolling in. Good morning, Bryce. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us this morning. Eric asked, does he start at Allen Robinson come Sunday, or does he start Adam Thielen today? Allen Robinson or Adam Thielen?
Brant, I don't know how you feel about this, but really since TJ Hawkinson's been there, Adam Thielen has kind of dropped off a little bit. His targets are still pretty good. The just receptions haven't been there. Whereas I know Allen Robinson found the end zone last week without Cooper Kupp. So I think I lean Allen Robinson in this one. But again, it wouldn't surprise me to see Adam Thielen go nuts. But I think safety wise, man, I don't even know if it's safer. Safety wise, Thielen's going to get the targets, but Allen has better upside, I think.
I love Allen Robinson this week. They play Kansas City. I understand that Stafford got ruled out, but they're going to have to air that ball out in order to stay in the game and stay competitive, or even try to stay competitive. So I really like Allen Robinson this week. I look for that ball to be spread out very nicely. I think he gets peppered with a lot of targets too, and I really like him this week. I like Allen Robinson.
Okay. Zach says Miles Sanders or Cam Akers for a starting running back. Zach, I think you're going to go with Miles Sanders here. I understand that there's some intriguing thoughts kind of out there with this Rams backfield after they let Darrell Henderson leave. But that offensive line has been absolutely dog water this year. That offensive line is the cranberry dessert or whatever you want to be of the Thanksgiving meal. It's there, but nobody likes it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's Miles Sanders in this one, and it's not particularly close for me. I think you may see some clarity on the Cam Akers, Kyron Williams thing moving forward, but I'm not touching that backfield for several weeks probably.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's Miles Sanders for me. Very safe guy to play. I don't trust the Rams at all. I don't trust their backfield at all. I don't trust their line. So, yeah, I think Kyron Williams winds up being the starter, but I also am a little homer with him as I am a Notre Dame fan. But, yeah, I think I got to go Miles Sanders over Cam Akers here.
Virgil says Jeff Wilson or Tyler Lockett. So you've got Jeff Wilson against the Texans and your Seahawks against the Las Vegas Raiders. My golden rule of thumb on this is I don't sit a running back if they're going against the Houston Texans, right? So I think I probably lean Jeff Wilson here. It's the safer play because it could easily be a DK Metcalf game, or Will Dissly or Noah Fant game, or a Kenneth Walker game there in Seattle. So I think I lean Jeff Wilson. Just again, the Texans matchup is too tasty. I think you have to be all over that.
Yeah, I got to go Jeff Wilson here. Seattle is going to spread the ball out nicely. They're coming out of the bye. They had a rough week 2 weeks ago in Germany, so I expect Seattle to lean on Kenneth Walker a lot and try to get back on track. So, yeah, I like Jeff Wilson. I think he's a safer play this week.
Okay. Jared says he needs a running back and a flex and full point PPR. He's got Deontay Foreman against Denver, Zeke versus the Giants, Palmer versus the Cardinals, Elijah Mitchell versus the Saints, and Demarcus Robinson against the Jags. So let's look at the running backs first. It looks like we have Foreman versus Denver, Zeke versus the Giants, and Mitchell versus the Saints. Any one of those three stand out to you there, Brant?
None of them stand out to me. As we've seen with Foreman, he's been up and down. He had a rough week last week. I had to start him in a couple leagues and was very, very disappointed. Zeke is Zeke. We don't know. I mean, I know he found the end zone once and maybe twice last week. But Pollard's been explosive. And Mitchell is sitting behind CMC. We saw the first week back, he had 50-50. And then last week he, saw a decent amount of touches, but didn't do a whole lot with them. Out of those three, I think I have to go Zeke because he is playing the Giants. I expect them to ground the ball out a little bit more this week. And I think Zeke is the clear goal line back there. I like Zeke, but I don't know if a PPR upside in any of those really is golden for me, because I don't know how many receptions any of those three are going to be getting, but I think I lean Zeke.
Yeah, for me, this isn't close. I just have this gut feeling, and as a fat guy on Thanksgiving, I'm going with my gut. I think Zeke has a huge week this week. I think you start Zeke there. The touchdown upside's tremendous. He did fall into the end zone twice last week. I think both were 1 yard carries.
Yeah.
But I think he finds the end zone again this week. I actually think Saquon Barkley finds the end zone as well in that same game, but I think it ends up being a Zeke versus Barkley showdown today. So I think Zeke has a great game. So as far as the flex, Brant, is it one of these other running backs we didn't take, or is it Joshua Palmer or Demarcus Robinson in the flex for you?
So if you want a home run hitter, if you need a home run hitter, I'm going to Demarcus Robinson this week. They came out, they said they would like to get him the ball more. They wanted to get the ball in his hand. He got peppered with targets this week. If you need a home run hitter, I'm going to Demarcus Robinson. But then remember, he has a running back throwing him the football, so he could also hang you a big fat goose egg. So if you want the safer play, I'm going Josh Palmer, because I do not expect to see Mike Williams coming back this week. So the safest play in my mind, I think, is Joshua Palmer.
Yeah, so Josh Palmer is the safer flex play, and I honestly think he has the highest ceiling as well. We did see him connect with Herbert on that 50-plus yard touchdown last week on the first series of the game, the third play of the game for the Chargers, and that was with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both on the field. So I like Joshua Palmer quite a bit. We know Mike Williams re-aggravated that high ankle sprain. Keenan Allen still looks like he's doing okay. But I think Joshua Palmer is going to be a consistent piece of this offense moving forward. I actually like Joshua Palmer rest of season as well.
Okay. All right.
Bryce says, half-point PPR pick one: Miles Sanders, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, Rachaad White, Christian Watson, or Latavius Murray. Need a W to get into playoffs. Herbie is my quarterback, so if Williams sits, I was leaning Palmer. Thoughts? So we'll dive into that one then, and he's got a non-PPR super flex one that he wants us to look into next. So half-point PPR, Brant: Miles Sanders, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, Rachaad White, Christian Watson, or Latavius Murray.
Man, I really like Rachaad White this week, but I don't know if I can trust him. Who does Philly play?
Philly has the Packers.
Thank you. I think I got to go with safety here and know that Miles Sanders is going to see the volume and see the work. I think I kind of have to go with safety and go with Miles Sanders here out of all these. White's question mark because they're going to ride the hot hand. Watson Watson has found the end zone 5 times in the last 2 weeks. Latavius Murray, are they just going to go to a full-blown committee there with the 17 backs that they have left or whoever's left? I know Mike Boone's coming back. I know Marlon Mack's there. I know Latavius Murray's there. I think I have to go with the safety of this and go Miles Sanders.
Yeah, for me, I think it does boil down to safety versus home run ability. And for me, it boils down to that Sunday night game in general with your Miles Sanders or Christian Watson. Listen, I think if you're in a very close matchup, going into Sunday night, you play Miles Sanders. If you're down by, double digits, I think you play Christian Watson and hope for the upside because you have that luxury. That's why I think it has to be one of the two of those guys because it gives you that roster flexibility to know whether you're chasing points or if you just need to get a few to cushion a lead or whatever Sunday night. So I think it's Miles Sanders for safety. If you're looking for a home run, I think it's Christian Watson. Listen, he's become Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. I know this is a very tough defense in Philly, but Aaron Rodgers is going to look his way. So if Christian Watson, it takes one play with a guy at his speed, to win you a week. So I think, again, it just boils down to what your week looks like as far as how many points do you need going into that Sunday night game. Yeah. Now let's move on to this non-PPR super flex where punt return, kick return count. He needs one. So he's got Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, Miles Sanders, or Juju. So obviously with it being non-PPR, your yards and your touchdowns is going to be what really saves you here. So with that being said, Brant, where are you at on that one?
I'm actually with Pacheco. I think I like his upside this week against the Rams. I don't know how much they're actually going to have to throw the ball to blow out the Rams. The Rams are starting to back up quarterback. Cooper Kupp. The running back situation is abysmal right now. So I don't know how much Juju's going to get involved. Oh, never mind. Miles Sanders right there. I overlooked that name. I'm sticking with Miles Sanders on this one too. I think that's my safe play this week is Miles Sanders. The Packers are in the bottom tier against the run too. So I think Miles Sanders could rip off a few good ones. So yeah, I think I like Miles Sanders this week. It's starting to sound like Miles Sanders may be one of my favorite plays this week.
Yeah, I like Miles Sanders as well on that one as well. Again, there's just as much touchdown upside as anybody else that was listed out of those four. He's guaranteed the work. We know we're going to see him get the ball, at least probably 12 times he's going to carry it. So for that reason, I like Miles Sanders out of those last four. Hector says, Miami, the Jets defense or Buffalo defense. So you've got Buffalo today in the first game against the Lions. You've got the Dolphins against the Texans and the Jets against the Bears. So for me, I'm taking the Bills out of it. Strange things happen on Thanksgiving. It wouldn't shock me to see the Lions put up 30 points today for whatever reason. It could happen. So I'm taking Buffalo out of the equation, and the obvious choice is Miami, right? But with Justin Fields suffering a torn shoulder, is he going to play? If he doesn't play, how confident are you in his backup? I'd have to look up to go see who it is behind that atrocious offensive line with limited weapons. That Jets defense has been pretty good. So for me, it really comes down to whether or not Justin Fields plays. If Justin Fields doesn't play, I think I honestly go the Jets. If he does play, he scares me enough that I'm not, and I would go against Kyle Allen and the Houston Texans this week.
Yeah, the obvious one to me, and if you got to put one in right now, I'm putting Miami in. If you can hold on to both the Jets and Miami just until Sunday, I would lean the Jets if Fields doesn't play. But Miami right now, if you have to plug it in right now because you don't want to hold two defenses, which is fine. I'm plugging Miami in right now, and I feel very safe starting them. But like you said, the higher upside is if Fields doesn't play, I think the Jets could be, one of the higher scoring defenses this week.
Giovanni says pick one PPR: Curtis Samuel, Cordero Patterson, Michael Carter, or Demarcus Robinson. So you've got Curtis Samuel against the Falcons, Cordero Patterson against the Commanders, Michael Carter against the Jets, and the Demarcus Robinson and the Ravens against the Jags.
The first one I'm taking out is I think I'm taking out Michael Carter. I know that he's been okay recently, but I don't trust that backfield. And they're starting Mike White. When last time we saw Mike White on a football field, he threw up 400 yards. So who knows? Maybe the Jets will be out there throwing all day. I like Cordell Patterson. I think he gets plenty of work against the Commanders. I don't know how much Samuels will be involved against your Falcons. I don't really know what that offense is going to look like this week against Atlanta. I know you guys are starting to get back healthy on defense, so they may have to spread out the ball a little bit more. So I think I like Cordell Patterson as a safe play this week.
Yeah, it's Cordero Patterson for me as well. And it's not necessarily because he's a safe pick. I think he's got the highest upside out of the four names mentioned. I honestly think the safest play is probably Michael Carter, just because of the work he's going to get. I don't expect the Jets to trail in this game a whole lot. Let me rephrase that. I don't expect the Bears to ever get away with this game to where it takes the running game out of it for the Jets. So I think Michael Carter's probably the safe play, but highest upside is Cordero Patterson for me. Walleye Wrangler says multi-questions, need to win, so I can't have a dud day from anyone. Pick a quarterback, Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence. All right, so let's start with that. Danny Dimes or Trevor Lawrence. You've got the Jags against the Ravens, like we mentioned, and the Giants Cowboys today.
I like Daniel Jones. I like his rushing upside. I think he scrambles quite a bit. I think he takes care of the ball pretty nicely. I like Daniel Jones over Trevor Lawrence this week.
Yeah, actually, I think typically I would feel that way too, but I just don't like the weapons that Danny Dimes has at his disposal. You know, Wan'Dale Robinson really got going last week. That's one I've been waiting to see happen all year. Brant, I know you can attest to that, but I think I go Trevor Lawrence just because of the weapons he's going to have. I know the Baltimore defense is pretty stout, but so is the Cowboys for that matter. So I think I go Trevor Lawrence just because of the weapons.
Okay.
He says, number 2, pick a wide receiver, Michael Pittman or Amon-Ra St. Brown. So you've got the Colts Monday night against the Steelers or St. Brown against the Bills, first game this morning.
I'm going with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Detroit is going to air that ball out in order to stay with Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to come out red hot and try to jump on top of them quick. I got to go with St. Brown. I can't bench St. Brown. He sees way too many targets. Pittsburgh's defense is starting to get back healthy and get back into it. So their defense is, one of the top tier when they all are healthy. And like I said, they're all starting to get back. So yeah, I think I go with St. Brown here.
Yeah, I think for the wide receiver, it's also St. Brown for me. Just like you mentioned, Brant, I think the Lions are going to have to play catch up at some points in this game. And I think that's going to look a lot like Jared Goff just heaving the ball to St. Brown. So I go St. Brown as well. Number 3 says, if St. Brown stays at my wide receiver slot, need a flex, Jeff Wilson Jr. or Michael Pittman. Could also plug Jamal Williams or Devin Singletary. Can't have a dub this week. Again, my gut tells me it's hard to set a running back against the Texans defense. I hate doing it, but Jamal Williams is probably my favorite name out of the 4 that are put the possibility for the flex there. I just hate advocating to play a whole bunch of guys on Thursday. What do you think on that one, Brant?
I think I go with Wilson Jr. I like him against the Texans. He's starting to really take over that backfield. Mostert's banged up, and Mostert could end up missing this game. He did miss practice yesterday on Wednesday. So Wilson could be the number 1 guy, and if he's the only guy in that backfield, then I absolutely love to start him this week against the Texans, like you said. So I'm gonna say start Wilson Jr. I like it too much.
Yeah, I think you go Jeff Wilson. It's hard to sit a running back against the Texans again, and not saying I don't think Jamal Williams is capable of a good game today. I'd hate to tell you to start him and then him get like 6 points because the Lions trail from start to finish. So I think you go Jeff Wilson for that flex spot.
Yep.
Andre says Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins.
Matt Ryan.
I understand.
I'm not starting Cousins in the prime.
I understand the question there with primetime Kirk Cousins is anything other than prime, right? Yeah, it's probably Matt Ryan on Monday Night Football just because of Kirk Cousins' track record, but I just don't know if I buy into the whole primetime Kirk Cousins. It's so quirky, but he kind of makes it seem logical. So we'll see. But I think I go Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I go Matt Ryan. I do buy into the whole Kirk Cousins primetime thing, and unfortunately, it's Thanksgiving primetime, so that game could turn ugly real quick with how good New England's defense is. So I have to go Matt Ryan. I lean Matt Ryan. I know I just said Pittsburgh's getting healthy, but I think Matt Ryan has the better game this week.
Okay.
Oh,
Braden says pick one: Jamal Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, or Rashad White. So you've got the Bucks against the Browns, the Chiefs against the Rams, and Jamal Williams today against the Buffalo Bills.
So I'm actually going to go Rashad White, and it's all because the Browns are actually give up the second most rushing to opposing running backs. So the Browns defense is not the best against the rush. So I actually like Rashad White. I think he will be the hot hand this week. I like him this week. And I don't know. And it's like you just alluded to, I don't know how fast the Bills pull away from this game. And I don't know how much Jamal Williams is really involved. As for Pacheco, once again, but I just don't know if I completely trust it yet. I know he looked really, really good this week. So yeah, I think I have to go Rashad White here. I like the upside of it this week, and he's looked really explosive.
Yeah, for me, I actually think I go Jamal Williams just because I know, for the most part, what I get with him. When it comes to Rashad White, if this Buccaneers team wasn't coming off of a bye week, I think I would be more intrigued by it just because of Fournette's age and things. But coming off of a bye week, I think they're going to ride him early this game. I think he's going to get all the opportunity in the world to be the hot hand. So unless he comes out stumbling out of the blocks, I don't expect to see a ton of Rashad White this week. I think it is coming. I just don't know if I see it this week. So I think I go Jamal Williams just because of how safe he should be.
Okay.
Drew says Rashad White or Devin Singletary, full point PPR. So I think I go Devin Singletary. There's a chance that the Bills get up to a decent lead and they salt the game away. I know, kind of watching the Bills a little bit last week, that it seems like when they get a decent lead, James Cook is actually the guy they have come in to salt it away. But I think Devin Singletary gets enough of a role in this game against the Lions that I really like him. Again, Rashad White just makes me a little nervous coming out of a bye week. And I could be the first one to be wrong about this. Maybe I'll look like a goof troop on this one, like I did not hopping on the Dameon Pierce hype train early like everybody else did. I know, Brant, I know you're a lot higher on Rashad White than I am, and I do think at some point this season Rashad White takes this backfield over and becomes the guy. I'm just not sure I see it this week.
Okay. I actually lean Singletary, same reason. I've talked about how I feel like the Bills are going to get all over them quick and fast. So I really like Singletary to help salt that game away. So, yeah, I like Singletary to see a lot of volume this week.
Andre says Ravens Jacksonville versus Jacksonville or Kansas City's defense against the Rams. Man. Matthew Stafford's already been ruled out this week, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, I go Kansas City's defense.
Yeah, I think I have to go Kansas City's defense as well. Just because they're playing a backup quarterback. I like Ravens defense, but I think I have to trust Kansas City since they're going against a backup quarterback this week.
Yeah, I don't trust that Rams offense right now. Wally Wrangler says at tight end, Knox or Higbee again need a non-dud day more than who has potential for going off. Okay. So Safety wise, I think it's got to be Higbee. I mean, there's no Cooper Kupp and a backup quarterback coming in. Who's the easiest person to target, Brant, if you're trying to avoid making mistakes?
You're tied in.
So I think I have to go Higbee in that game. Listen, the Chiefs' offense is good. They're going to put points on the board. The Rams are going to have to try to keep up. They're going to pass. I think Higbee's going to be peppered with volume and will give you the best chance at safe plays. Knox could have a huge game and could also not be involved. So I think I lean Higbee in this one for safety.
I think I go Higbee as well. I think he'll get leaned on very often in that game with the backup quarterback. So yeah, I really like Higbee.
Joe says Patriots, Dolphins, Commanders, or Chiefs defense. I think this one for me comes down to the Dolphins against the Texans or the Chiefs against the backup quarterback in Los Angeles. The Falcons have put points on the board. I know the Commanders' defense is going to get better. Chase Young's getting closer to coming back. But gosh, you could start the Patriots against Kirk Cousins in prime time too. I don't know. Brent, where are you at on this one?
I'm with the Patriots. I'm not benching a top 5 defense. They've hung plenty of points over this year. Their defense is always stout. I like the Patriots. That's a team that I absolutely love their defense for fantasy. So I like them, especially against, once again, I buy into the primetime Kirk Cousins. So I like the New England Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots are going to feast or famine. It's either going to be amazing or they're going to not get you anything. So, I mean, there's that. And I think the Dolphins are probably the safest defense against the Houston Texans. I think backup quarterback Kyle Allen's probably going to have a turnover or two, probably going to get sacked a time or two. Bradley Chubb looks good there in Miami. I think it's safety. It's Miami. Boom or bust, I guess, could be Patriots. I'd hate to advise that against, Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook and TJ Hawkinson. And I'm not. The Vikings offense scares me enough that I don't feel comfortable saying it, but I definitely understand why anybody would play them. Michael says pick 2: Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, or Christian Kirk. Also, he's got another quarterback question here involving Kirk Cousins. So let's do the pick 2 between the 3 wide receivers here. Where's your brain at on those 3? So you've got Cooper against the Buccaneers, DK against the Raiders, and Kirk against the Ravens.
I'm going with those first 2. Amari Cooper's been the number 1 there in Cleveland. They lean on him very often. I know he has a tough matchup this week, but I think I still have to go with him as the number 1. And then I go with DK Metcalf. He once again is one of Gino's favorite targets, so I like DK. And Christian Kirk's been so up and down this year. I don't know how much I actually trust him. I was all over that hype train. I know he sees targets. I know he sees quite a few targets. I know they also play Baltimore, who has a decent secondary. So yeah, I think I have to go with the first 2 games there with Cooper and DK.
Yeah, I'm also on the Cooper DK side of this. I think Cooper has become Jacoby Brissett's, obvious safety blanket. Donovan Peoples-Jones has looked good. David Bell is starting to come on a little bit too, but Amari Cooper is definitely the one on that offense. And then as far as DK, DK just always finds a way to be involved, always finds a way to be fantasy relevant, and Gino likes him, as you mentioned. So I think I'm on the same side of that. And then as far as quarterback, if you buy into the Kirk Cousins primetime thing, this is like one of the ugliest quarterback questions I've seen in a while. It's Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson. Where are you at on that, Brant?
Who's on waivers?
Fair enough. All right.
I have to go with Kirk Cousins. I don't trust Russell at all. And as a Seahawk fan, this is the first year that I actually have to say this. I don't trust him. I don't trust the Denver offense. I don't trust the play calling. I buy into the Kirk Cousins hype, but either one could hang a huge dud this week on both those, or they both could. But I think I like Kirk Cousins better. I think he's got more weapons there. So unfortunately, I have to go with Cousins, even though I buy into that hype.
For me, it's unfortunate that you have Kirk Cousins playing Thursday and Russell on Sunday, because if Jerry Jeudy plays, I say it's Russell Wilson, but I don't know if you're going to see Jeudy back on the field yet this week. So I think you have to go Kirk Cousins, but both of these guys are somewhat scary. Again, I don't typically buy into the prime time. I know Kirk Cousins doesn't look great in prime time, but I think there's a chance that this may be the first primetime game that a lot of people are like, hey, Kirk Cousins can figure this out. So we'll see. John says, pick 2, Josh Palmer, Jamal Williams, Swift, or Montgomery. For me, there's one that's obvious and it sticks out above the rest, and it's David Montgomery. If for whatever reason Justin Fields is banged up as bad as that the reports are right now, Montgomery should have a healthy workload this week. So Monty's my obvious start here out of these 4 names. And then it just comes down to, for me, with Swift and Williams, I still think this may be the last week that you see a real definitive split in Jamal Williams' favor. You may see after this long week after today that Swift starts getting more involved. But I think today it stays Jamal Williams. And then again, Joshua Palmer, for me, comes down to, does Mike Williams play or not? So I think I probably go Monty and Williams just because those are the 2 safest plays I think you have here. But again, upside I think is Palmer. So that's kind of where I'm at on this one.
Yeah, like I said, I don't expect Mike Williams to play, so I like Palmer and Monty as my 2 here. I think Palmer gets peppered with targets. I know Keenan Allen's still a little banged up, but I expect him to play. So I still like Palmer and Monty here. Williams just scares me. I know he had that amazing week last week, falling into the end zone, getting plenty of work, but slowly Swift's going to get worked back in, and we know Swift is more dynamic than Jamal Williams, so eventually Swift's going to take over. So I don't trust Williams. I still think that he's a safe play. I just don't know if I trust him, especially if you need – a ball out game, and the fact that he plays on Thursday, it really scares me too, because how do you want to start your week if Swift ends up taking over this week with a 6-point Jamal Williams? So I have to go Palmer and Monty.
Okay. Zachary says start 1, Gabe Davis, Samaje P. Ryan, Raheem Mostert, or potentially Hollywood if he's back.
Oh my goodness.
So I think you have to scratch Hollywood out of this just because we don't know what we're getting with that. I don't know what, Brant, you're more near and dear to the situation than I am. What's Mixon looking like this week after his concussion? Is he cleared?
I don't think he's completely cleared yet. I have not been on top of it as much as I should be this week with the busyness we had going on this week. But my goodness, I know Mostert is missing, was missing practice yesterday. I'm double checking the Mixon right now as we speak. He sat out Wednesday also. So, oh my goodness, this is tough because of the fact that Davis plays today.
It's Gabe Davis for me. The other 3 are all question marks. I mean, Samaje P. Ryan's value ties into whether Mixon plays or doesn't play. Raheem Mostert, he's banged up. It looks like it's starting to become Jeff Wilson's backfield. And then if Hollywood does come back, what's his snap count look like? How often do they have him on the field again? D-Hop, Rondale Moore, A.J. Green, Trey McBride. There's still plenty of other options in that Arizona offense. So for all of the other unforeseen factors, I have to go Gabe Davis today. It's not fortunate that the one healthy guy out of the 3 right now plays today. So I think I have to go with the guy that I know is going to play.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat here now. I think I have to go Gabe Davis and hope for that home run hit today, or even plenty of targets. So yeah, go ahead and give me Gabe Davis. There's too many question marks surrounding P. Ryan. We know Mixon's been a volume hog this year. Mostert missing time. I think you scratch him, and I can't trust Hollywood his first week back with all those weapons there. So give me Gabe Davis.
You must have lost to Dave last week, Brant, because he said Gordon worked for me.
Yeah. I messaged him and said it's pretty funny. Gordon beats me and then he gets cut. That's cool.
Yeah, Dave, I also beat Brant last week. So with that good juju I put out there saying that I hoped you and I both got away, and it worked.
Yeah.
in a league I'm tanking, I happen to pull out a win. So I have to get those jabs in where I can. Brant, your team's way better than mine this year. So Braden says pick 3: Christian Kirk, Josh Palmer, Treylon Burks, Drake London, Terrence Marshall Jr., Allen Robinson, or Garrett Wilson. So this is a heavy hitter of a question here. So we have to look at this a little bit deeper. So is there any one of these 6, 7 guys that you take out right off the jump? Who sticks out as somebody you're taking out?
I'm taking out Terrence Marshall. I don't know how much I trust that offense. They got Sam Darnold starting back. Are the Ghosts going to be playing on defense against Sam Darnold?
Halloween's past. We're good on Ghost.
Oh, so there's going to be turkeys running around for Sam Darnold
Could be.
this week.
Could be.
So, yeah, I got to pull Terrence Marshall out. I got to pull everybody in the Carolina offense out. I don't trust it this week, and so yeah, he's easily out for me. As for the rest, I really don't mind them. I like Garrett Wilson this week. He's the one there. I like the fact that they're moving away from Zach Wilson. So I actually do like Garrett Wilson this week. So yeah, I think Terrence Marshall is my first takeout. What do you have?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to look at this on the opposite end of it. Who's somebody on this that I don't feel like I can sit at this point? In total homer pick incoming here, but it's Drake London for me. Okay, Drake London's found the end zone several times this year, and now Kyle Pitts is on the IR. And Kyle Pitts and Drake London have been the 2 target guys for Marcus Mariota. So I think that Drake London gets an uptick in his already large target share. Again, it's not been anything super sexy out of Drake London, but I do think that the uptick in volume will equate to better fantasy numbers there. So I think Drake London's a must start for me the rest of season, just because of no Kyle Pitts. So that's my number one obvious one that I'm playing. So I do agree with the Terrence Marshall take. He's out for me as well. So I've got one out, one in. So then let's break this down. So we've got the Jags against the Ravens. It's a tough defense. Okay. We've got Josh Palmer against the Cardinals. Again, this is one that I like, but I want to wait and see if Mike Williams doesn't play for sure. I don't expect him to. And I also think Keenan Allen's still on a snap count. So I think I like Josh Palmer. Treylon Burks against the Bengals. This is one where I expect the Titans to have to throw the ball to keep up. But if Derrick Henry starts off hot on the ground, I could see the passing offense, taking a back seat here. Allen Robinson should be the guy in Los Angeles, but it's a backup quarterback, so I'm probably leaving Allen Robinson out this week. So there's your 2 out for me is Terrence Marshall and Allen Robinson. So then it really just comes down to Garrett Wilson or Burks for me. So right now I think I've got Drake London and Palmer in. Just because I haven't seen Mike White this year with these pass catchers. We've seen Joe Flacco. We've seen Zach Wilson. I don't know what to expect out of Mike White. So I think I go Josh Palmer, Treylon Burks, and Drake London for me out of this lot here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Drake London. I forgot about Pitts being moved to the IR, so I absolutely love Drake London in the start there. As I had no shares in Pitts, so I didn't really pay that close attention to him this year. But yeah, moving to the IR, I love Drake London. This one's a little homer pick for me. I've loved this guy since, college. I have to go Treylon Burks here. I think he solidified himself as the alpha, as the go-to guy for Tannehill. And as for the third one, I think I have to go with the safety of knowing Josh Palmer is going to see the volume. We don't know exactly what we're going to see with the Jets with Mike White starting. So, yeah, I think I have to go Palmer, Burks, and London as my 3.
Cannot believe that you and I are in consensus on all those names there, but here we are. That means they're not going to be the 3 right names. That's all there is to that. But, yeah, there you go. Andres says, standard league, my 2 running back are Pierce and Connor. My flex is Alvin Kamara, but his matchup against San Francisco is horrible. Should I play Palmer in my flex? No, you leave Alvin Kamara in your flex. AK-41's been very good this year after he came back from that injury scare in the beginning of the season. I like Alvin Kamara quite a bit. Again, this is a guy that plays in running back that could get you 60 rushing yards, 60 receiving yards, and a couple of touchdowns every single week. Just one of the premier PPR backs in football. And I know this isn't a PPR league, but again, the pass catching upside, the running upside, he should get you plenty of yards period to help out in a standard league.
Yeah, you have to leave Kamara in. His upsides it's too high. His touchdown ability is too high. He may be the best weapon they have against the San Francisco pass rush and secondary. So I expect a decent week out of Kamara. So yes, I leave him in.
John says Godwin or Kirk in 1 point PPR. So again, you've got the Buccaneers against the Browns or the Jags against the Ravens here.
I'm going Chris Godwin. I like Godwin's upside with Tom Brady. They're coming off a bye. They're trying to take back the division that they're fighting for with Atlanta. So I think I have to go with Chris Godwin here.
Yeah, it feels like Chris Godwin to me too, and it also feels like you and I are throwing a lot of shade at Christian Kirk this week. I think Christian Kirk's still viable. I just don't love the matchup this week. That's the only reason I'm fading him a little bit this week. So I do think I go Chris Godwin too, but Christian Kirk's a guy that can make you look silly real quick this season. So I go Godwin, but it's not as definitive as one would think.
Yeah. And the shade on Kirk this week is the fact that they do play Baltimore, and Baltimore's secondary has always been known as good. So it's just a tough matchup for Kirk this week. Excuse me.
Zachary says, banged up Justin Fields, or do I put Justin Herbert back in now that he has at least one starter back on the field? So again, the Jets defense scares me a heck of a lot more than the Cardinals defense does. Brant, I know you're a huge believer in oh my goodness, I knew this was going to evade me as soon as I started talking about it. The safety there, Buda Baker, in Arizona. But I just think that Justin Herbert is the guy that I'm starting here. I know the rushing upside from Fields is tremendous, but with a separated shoulder, probably not being able to throw the ball very well, how much our defense is going to, let them beat him with how much are they going to let them beat him with their legs instead of making him pass? I expect to see the Jets drop back in a lot of man coverage this week and keeping a bunch of guys in the box if Fields happens to play. So I think I do go Herbert, with the emergence of Palmer, Keenan Allen being back. DeAndre Carter's been no slouch, and he does have another very good pass catching back there. And Austin Eckler, I think you have to go Herbert here just because of Fields being banged up.
Yeah, I'm going Herbert, and you missed one. We just watched Arizona get torched by the tight end last week. They are one of the worst defenses against tight end, and Herbert does have a pretty good pass-catching tight end in Gerald Everett. So, yeah, I go with Justin Herbert.
I did leave Everett out because he didn't play last week, and I hadn't checked on him to see if he was going to play this week. I know he was banged up, and it says he's still questionable. He logged a limited practice yesterday. That's with a groin injury. So those are usually pretty tough to come back from for a skill position player. So definitely one to keep your eye on there. If Everett plays, it's even better for Herbert, right? So Mike says start 3 in PPR: Chris Olave, Drake London, Michael Pittman, Gabe Davis, Brandon Ayuk, and Christian Watson. So who's the obvious? Is there an obvious takeout for you out of this group, Brant? Because I don't see one that's obvious for me. I want to say Pittman just because, Paris Campbell's look good, Alec Pierce's look good, and it seems to be the Jonathan Taylor show again in Indy. But Pittman gets the targets, so it's hard to say sit him. He's probably my least favorite out of them, but I could also see a strong argument to play him. I probably leave Gabe Davis out just because they're playing the first game of the day, and Gabe Davis is feast or famine. But again, if he feasts, you're going to be really upset you don't play him. So my gut tells me I want to go with the 3 rookies again here. But I think as much as I love Christian Watson and as much as his upside has really come to the forefront the last couple of weeks, the Eagles defense does scare me. So I think I go ahead and leave Christian Watson out this week. I think I leave Gabe Davis out. So for me, Olave and London are both must plays. in their offenses right now. So it comes down to Brandon Ayuk or Michael Pittman for me. Let me stew on those two names for just a split second, Brant. Why don't you take your crack at this and see if it sways my mind?
So I know you said Gabe Davis out, but I actually am starting Gabe Davis and Drake London are my first two. Olave and Ayuk have very, very tough matchups as they play each other in what I expect to be a very, very big defensive battle. I expect McCaffrey to be the difference maker and Kamar to be the difference maker in that game. So I like London, Davis, and I think I'm going with the boom of Christian Watson this week. I know that, Phillies has scared me. Their defense is, but I think I have to go with, like I said, I think I have to go with Watson. I have to go with his favorite red zone target. So yeah, give me London, Davis, and Watson as my three.
Yeah, you sure didn't help me there, but you may have talked me into taking Watson back off the unplayable here because I just love Christian Watson, and I don't want to be that guy that's like, hey, play Christian Watson every single week, and then he starts getting zeros and I look like an idiot. So I think I go Olave, London, and Watson here. Listen, it's the rookie hype train, I guess, but this is the time of year where you really see these rookie wide receivers start taking off and taking over in their respective offenses. Olave's kind of been that guy all season, but yeah, I think I go with the three rookies here. It is what it is. I'm going with it.
There you go.
Sue me. Shane, a man after our hearts. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope all is well and enjoy your day. You as well, Shane. The most important question of the day is turkey, stuffing, pumpkin pie, sweet potato, or homemade cranberry. The answer to the most important question of the day is yes, lots of everything except for the homemade cranberries. I'm not eating cranberries. But the rest of it I'll absolutely overindulge in today. I expect to be in a food-induced coma this afternoon at some point in time. But the answer is yes to all the rest of it.
Yeah, the answer is yes, no to cranberry, and actually, this is a topic that I try to avoid. Is actually turkey is not on my menu. We have two hams over here. We do cook a turkey for the rest. I don't touch the turkey. I smoke my own ham, so mine is ham. And everything else. I don't do turkey or cranberry, but yes to everything else on that board there.
Listen, turkey's not my favorite either, but it's Thanksgiving. You have to have at least a piece of turkey or two. And I intend to have, plenty of it. I'll probably make myself, towards the end of the day, sick with ham, turkey, and potato roll sandwiches. Listen, I'm going to stuff my face with all of the things except for the cranberry again. So let's get into some of these prop bets here, Brant, while we have a split second. And then I do, obviously we got to talk a little bit of food here towards the end of this episode with us being the FatBoyz. So I'm going to start us off. One of my prop bets, and it's my absolute favorite one I found this week. And it's Saquon Barkley over half of a touchdown, either rushing or receiving. Saquon Barkley's an end zone magnet. Yes, I understand the Cowboys defense is pretty formidable, but Saquon Barkley's a stud. Him going over a half of a touchdown and receiving or rushing, there's no way in my mind he doesn't find the end zone at least once today. So I absolutely love this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So my favorite one of the day is, and I found it, was Kirk Cousins to go over a half of an interception. He's in prime time. He's playing the New England defense. So, yeah, I'm taking Kirk Cousins to throw an interception today. I could not believe it was only at a half of an interception over under.
All right, there you have it. My next favorite one is Jamal Williams over 56.5 rushing yards today. Again, he's kind of become that guy here in the absence of a healthy DeAndre Swift. I think early in the game, the Lions are going to lean on Williams to try to keep the ball out of the Bills' hands. So I like Jamal Williams over 56.5 rushing yards.
Which then that leads me into one of my other favorite ones, and that is a Jared Goff under 35.5 pass attempts. He's only thrown 26 pass attempts in his last he's only gone over 26 pass attempts once in his last 5 games. So yeah, I expect them to lean on Jamal Williams to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. And I also don't expect Jared Goff to possibly finish this game because I do expect Buffalo to jump on them early and often. and so I don't expect Goff to possibly play into the fourth quarter. So I like him to go under.
Okay, I've got Darius Slayton to go over 4 receptions today. Absent other healthy pass catching options, unless you're a Kenny Galladay believer. And Brant, we don't have time for you to get on that soapbox this morning. So I like Darius Slayton to go over 4 receptions in that game.
What's Kenny Galladay's prop bet? Oh, wait, he's not on there. So no, for my in that game, I like Daniel Jones to go over 38.5 rushing yards. I expect the Dallas defense to get there early and often to get in that backfield and force Daniel Jones to scramble out a little bit. He went for 79 yards rushing last time they played Dallas, so I expect Daniel Jones to be running the football quite a bit in that game.
Okay, back to the first game of the day. I actually do have Dawson Knox to go over 37.5 receptions. I don't expect him to have a ton of volume. There's just too many pass catchers there. But again, 2 receptions for him, he could easily see over 37.5 yards. So I like that on Thanksgiving Day here.
Yep, I like, as for tight ends, I like Dalton Schultz to go over 30. Was at 39.5 receiving yards. He's gone over that 3 of the last 4 games. He's one of Dak's favorite targets, so I like Dalton Schultz to go over that. And he's seen 5+ targets in every game that he's been healthy in this year, so I like him.
All right, my last one for the day is I actually have Adam Thielen to go over 3.5 receptions. The targets have been there, the receptions just haven't. I look for him to catch at least 4 balls today on a game that I think Kirk Cousins actually proves the world wrong about him on prime time. So Adam Thielen over 3.5 receptions today.
Yeah, so my last one, my risky one, my scary one is KJ Osborne to go over 23.5 receiving yards. I expect New England to focus on Jefferson and Thielen and Cook and really work to slow them down. So I like KJ Osborne to be able to see at least 1 ball, maybe 2 to go over that 23.5 yards.
Okay. Got a couple more questions streaming in here. Mike says start 3 running backs in PPR: Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Dameon Pierce, DeAndre Swift, Jeff Wilson Jr., Tony Pollard, or Deontay Foreman. Holy cow. Wow, this is talking about having a healthy stable of running backs here. So the obvious 2, there's a bunch of obvious ones if some of these other names weren't here, but Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, I'm not sitting. I'm just not taking them guys out of my lineup at this point. DeAndre Swift, for me, I think I kind of leave out just again because I don't know how healthy he is. And then I don't like Deontay Foreman this week with Sam Darnold playing. So then it comes down to Tony Pollard, Pierce, or Jeff Wilson Jr. for me. And for whatever reason, again, this is my gut. I could be at 100% wrong here and probably will be, but I think this is going to be a Zeke game in Dallas. So I think I'm leaving Pollard out as well. So it comes down to the Texans versus the Dolphins for me. And I'd rather be on the Dolphins side. So give me Jeff Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, and Christian McCaffrey.
That means we're wrong because I'm in the same boat as you with those 3 names. McCaffrey, Taylor, you don't take out, and Jeff Wilson against Houston, I got to go with him. The matchup is too tasty there, and with the questionable Mostert. So yeah, McCaffrey, Taylor, and Wilson are my 3.
Mike's got a follow-up question here. It says, start 2 wide receivers in PPR: Jalen Waddle, DeAndre Hopkins, George Pickens, or Gabe Davis. For me, this one's going to be the 2 obvious ones again. It's Waddle and Hopkins, although Waddle does scare me a little bit because if Miami jumps out to an early lead by way of Jeff Wilson and Tyreek Hill, you may see a small day for Jalen Waddle. But I have to go with the 2 studs here. I think Pickens is starting to emerge, here as one of Kenny Pickett's favorite targets, but I can't play him at this point over Waddle and Hopkins. And again, Gabe Davis is feast or famine. It wouldn't shock me for Gabe Davis to be the high scorer out of these 4, but he also could be the low scorer pretty easy. So I have to go with Waddle and Hopkins.
Yeah, I got to go Waddle and Hopkins here. I like Hopkins, especially if Kyler Murray's back. So yeah, I go with Waddle and Hopkins here.
Okay. Ben says Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper. For me, this one's pretty simple. It's Amari Cooper. He's not on a snap count. He's been Jacoby Brissett's guy. I have to lean Amari Cooper in this one.
Yeah, I go with Amari Cooper as well. We're starting to see that passing offense really take off. So, yeah, I like Amari Cooper this week against Tampa Bay because, well, Tampa Bay has one of the best rush defenses. So they may have to lean on Amari and Njoku quite a bit.
He has another second question here. He says, do I put Zeke in for Mixon? I think you have to, just based on the fact that Mixon hasn't cleared yet. He hasn't practiced, and how good Samaje Perine did look in Mixon's absence last week. There's no real reason for them to rush him back if he doesn't clear on time or whatever else. So I think you absolutely have to play Zeke today. Again, this is unfortunate because they play 4 days apart here, but I play Zeke, and I play Zeke with a little bit of confidence this week. Like I said, I have this feeling about Zeke. I'm not telling everybody to go put all their money down on Zeke to have a huge game, but I do think Zeke I play just based on the fact that I don't know whether Mixon's going to suit up or not.
Yeah, I got to go. I got to be in the same boat there, and I absolutely hate the fact that you have to. But yeah, I got to lean Zeke over Mixon for now.
Jason says 2 of these 4 in PPR: Deontay Foreman, Damian Pierce, Samaje Perine, and Ramondre Stevenson. I think this one's fairly obvious for me as well. Well, actually, it's not so much so. So I'm starting Ramondre Stevenson. He's the number one obvious one. He's a top 10 running back right now in fantasy football. He's a start guy. He's a set it and forget it for me. And then it really comes down to Pierce and Perine. And thankfully, this is a Sunday game here. So if Mixon does not play, I play Samaje Perine. If Mixon plays, I go Damian Pierce. It's very simple for me on that one.
Yep, I'm in the same boat there. Stevenson's a set it and forget it type of guy right now. I expect them to lean on him to produce their offense this week. And you hit it on the head. If Mixon plays, you start Pierce. If Mixon sits, you start Perine.
Absolutely. Chris says Gabe Davis, Michael Pittman, or Christian Watson. We'll dive into those wide receivers first, and then we'll hit his tight end question here. So again, at this point with Brant, you and I have been saying this for years since we've been doing this podcast and stuff. When Aaron Rodgers has a target that he loves, he force feeds the ball to those guys. He's fallen in love with Christian Watson in front of our eyes the last 2 weeks. He's going to force feed Christian Watson the ball again this week. The Eagles defense does scare me, but you talked me into being all in on it when I said I was leaving him out because the Eagles defense and you played him. So this is your fault, but I'm going Christian Watson out of the 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm taking Watson again here too. Like you said, he's going to force feed him. They're going to find a way to get the ball in Watson's hands. He's too fast. He's too dynamic. I'm not saying he's a set it and forget it type of guy quite yet, but he's definitely Rodgers' favorite, and I think they're going to have to hang points to stick with that, stick in that game. So yeah, give me Watson.
And then as far as the tight end, he's got Pat Freiermuth or Dawson Knox. I think I go Freiermuth here. I think it's Freiermuth for me. Again, Monday night, I love having that roster flexibility where I've got something to hang on to as far as holding out hope on Monday night games, whether you're in a close game and it's your guy against theirs on Monday night, or you're down 10 points and you've got whatever. I like having a Monday night guy, so I go Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean on Freiermuth here too. I just think he's due for a big game. He's a good red zone target. So yeah, I like Pat Freiermuth here.
I wanted to throw this out there too. So obviously today's Thanksgiving, which is amazing. I love the food aspect of it. Love the all day football. There is some very good fantasy names playing today. Obviously, don't have those guys in your flexes unless you're one of those guys that has a bunch of players playing today. But with that being said, if you're playing against somebody who has a ton of Thursday night guys and they're up to a 60-point lead after Thursday, don't hang your head because there is a full slate of football on Sunday as well still this week. I know Brant and I are both going to be back live Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time again to address or 10 a.m. Eastern time, to address any more start-sit questions you guys may have come Sunday morning. No bye weeks this week, so there's a lot of fantasy relevancy this week on Sunday as well. So don't hang your head if you're down. Again, as always, this is a week and a day for you guys to join me in Brant's boat as just being fat for fun. It's a national treasure today. Eat as much food as you can, watch as much football as you can. It's a great day for all of those things. So, Brant, I'm going to give you a chance to hit anybody with any parting words of wisdom here before we hop off.
Yeah, unfortunately, the best game of the day is right at mealtime. So try to space that out so you're not in a food coma watching one of the best games of the day with the Cowboys and Giants. Enjoy your food, guys. Enjoy sitting back. Enjoy the family time. Enjoy the football. If you don't like your family, then enjoy the football even more. But yeah, enjoy today, guys. We'll be back with you guys Sunday morning, and
I also want to throw it out. There's World Cup action on today too. So if anybody's a soccer fan, you've got some World Cup games on in between NFL games too. Mike asked one last quick question. I want to grab this really quick. It's a quick one. Brady or Tua? It's Tua for me against the Houston Texans. Real quick, I just wanted to grab that one game out of playoffs. You got to start the upside.
Yeah, I got to go with Tua here. Also, I like Tua.
Brant, I'm going to switch this up on you. I know it's always stay hungry and stay fat, but today is Thanksgiving. Today we're going to get fatter and we're going to get hungrier.
Sounds good to me. And enjoy your day, guys. We'll see you back on Sunday.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining in, folks. Yep.